Yarrick walked his usual repair route on Station Row 9, a quiet human outpost far from Earth. Every day felt the same. He checked wires, fixed old machines, and reported small problems no one cared about. Most people called his job boring, but he didn't mind. He liked simple work. It kept his mind peaceful. But there was one thing on the station that never felt peaceful to him: the old well. The well stood at the far end of the outpost, near the rocky cliffs. It did not look like anything humans built. Its stones were smooth and perfectly cut, with strange patterns across the surface. Engineers said the well was over 1,000 years old, created by a lost alien race that once lived on this planet. For safety, they placed a small fence around it and warned people not to touch it. Yarrick always felt something unusual whenever he walked near it. It was not fear. It was more like a soft pull, as if the well knew him. He tried to ignore it for years, but the feeling stayed. One day during his work shift, he stopped and stared at the glowing seal above the water. It was a faint blue field of energy, almost invisible but always there. The power team tried many times to scan it, but the readings made no sense. Some workers joked that the well was alive. Yarrick did not laugh. He felt like the joke might be true. He leaned closer, trying to understand why the well felt different today. The glow seemed a little brighter, like it was waking up. He shook his head, telling himself he was imagining things, and continued with his daily repairs. Later that evening, the station lights flickered. Power failures were normal on Row 9, but this time it felt stronger. The air hummed and the lights dimmed across the outpost. Yarrick rushed to the control room to help, but before he could reach it, he passed the well again. The seal was flickering. Blue sparks danced across the stone edges. The energy field that had stayed strong for centuries now looked unstable. Yarrick froze and stared, unsure what to do. Something inside him whispered that this was important. He stepped closer, even though he knew he should report the issue instead. The blue glow inside the well pulsed gently, like a heartbeat. For the first time ever, the water below was visible. It shimmered with a strange light, calm and inviting. Yarrick felt the pull stronger than ever. It was no longer gentle. It felt like a hand touching his thoughts, asking him to come closer. He looked around. No one else was there. The station was silent except for the fading hum of the failing power grid. He knew he should walk away. He knew he should call his supervisor. But his feet did not move. He leaned over the well, staring into the glowing water. The light reflected in his eyes, and for a moment he felt warm, safe, and strangely understood. He reached down. His fingers touched the water, and it was not cold. It felt soft, almost like a warm breeze. The glow rose through his skin. Before he could stop himself, he lifted a small handful of the water and brought it to his lips. He took a sip. The moment the water touched his tongue, the seal above the well snapped back to life with a loud flash of blue light. Yarrick stepped back quickly, startled. His heart raced. The air around him vibrated, and the stones of the well glowed brighter than ever before. The glow inside the water sank slowly back into the depths, as if hiding again. Everything became still. Yarrick tried to breathe normally. He felt no pain, no shock, nothing dangerous. But something inside him felt different, too different. It was like a warm light had settled behind his eyes. He rubbed them, confused. The warmth stayed. The power failure ended moments later, and the outpost lights returned to normal. Yarrick walked away from the well, trying to convince himself nothing strange happened. But as he moved, he noticed his vision seemed sharper. Colors looked brighter. The shadows looked clearer. He could see tiny details he never noticed before. When he reached his small sleeping room, he looked in the metal mirror by his bed. His eyes were not the same. Soft blue lines moved inside them, glowing faintly in the dark. They shifted like quiet rivers of light. Yarrick stared for a long time, unable to believe what he was seeing. The well had changed him. He did not know how or why, but he knew one thing. Whatever happened was only the beginning. The next morning, Yarrick woke feeling different. The warmth behind his eyes had not gone away. When he looked in the mirror, the blue lines inside his eyes glowed softly, moving like living threads. He blinked, rubbed his face, and blinked again. The lines stayed. He felt no pain, only a strange sense of awareness, like he could see more than before. He dressed quickly and left his small room, trying to act normal. Walking through the station corridors, he noticed people staring at him. At first, he thought it was the early morning tiredness, but when he caught their expressions, he realized they were not tired. They were curious, maybe even afraid. "Your eyes are glowing," one engineer whispered as he passed. Yarrick forced a smile and kept walking. He tried to explain it as some minor effect of old alien minerals near the well. "Must be a reflection," he muttered. But deep down he knew it was more than that. The water in the 1,000-year well had done something. Something permanent. As he returned to his repair tasks, he noticed other changes. Tiny details in the station became clear. The faint hum of machines was sharper. The patterns of wires, pipes, and circuits seemed easier to understand. He moved his hands over a broken terminal, and without thinking, the panel lit up and restarted. It was like the station was responding to him. He stopped, staring at his own hands. Could the water in the well have given him this ability? The thought was impossible, but every instinct in his body said it was true. Over the next few hours, he experimented carefully. He touched a stuck maintenance drone and it began working again. He looked at a faulty energy conduit, and it glowed softly as if it were happy to be seen. The symbols of the alien builders, once hidden, seemed to float in the corner of his vision. Tiny glowing shapes moving in patterns he could barely understand. He realized the symbols were not random. They guided him. When he followed them, things worked better. Tools came to his hands when needed. Machines operated more efficiently. Even the simplest devices seemed easier to fix. It was as if the well's water had given him a connection to the hidden intelligence of the station and maybe even the planet itself. By the time night fell, Yarrick was exhausted but exhilarated. He returned to his room, sitting on the edge of his bunk, staring at the faint glow in his eyes. For a moment he wondered if he was going mad. But before he could think more, a movement in the corner of his room caught his attention. At first it was nothing, a shadow, maybe a trick of the dim light. But the shadow moved again. It grew taller and sharper, taking the shape of a figure. The figure was transparent, glowing faintly blue like the lines in his eyes. Its form was tall and human-like, but unlike any human he had seen. Its clothing appeared ancient, made of flowing patterns of light and mist. Yarrick's heart beat fast. Who's there?" he whispered. The figure did not answer. It stood silently watching him. He could feel a strange calmness in its presence, even though he had never seen anything like it. It did not seem dangerous, only curious, almost wise. Yarrick blinked and the figure faded, disappearing like mist in sunlight. He rubbed his eyes and shook his head. Maybe the stress of the day and the strange water had made him hallucinate. But as he turned toward the mirror, he saw his glowing eyes once again. The soft blue threads inside them pulsed gently, like they had a life of their own. And he knew the figure had been real. Over the next days the changes continued. He could see hidden machinery details from across the room. He could anticipate when a system might fail before it happened. The glowing symbols appeared more clearly now, forming small instructions and diagrams in the air that only he could read. Yarrick began to understand that the water in the well had not just changed his eyes. It had changed his mind. It had given him the ability to perceive the world in ways others could not. And he realized slowly that something else was watching him, guiding him, maybe even testing him. He could not stop thinking about the figure. Each night, it appeared again, closer this time, silently observing. And each time, Yarrick felt less afraid and more connected, like the figure was trying to communicate without words. The station felt smaller now, and yet the world felt larger. Yarrick realized that the well had opened something inside him. A new vision, a new purpose. He did not understand everything yet, but he knew one thing clearly. He was no longer the same man who walked past the 1,000-year well that first night. Something ancient had awakened in him, and it would not rest. Yarrick could not sleep. His eyes still glowed faintly in the dark, and the strange warmth behind them made him restless. He kept thinking about the well, about the water he had drunk, and about the soft pull that had drawn him closer. He did not understand what was happening to him, but he felt different, stronger, sharper, and somehow connected to something he could not see. The next night, he wandered the quiet corridors of Station Row 9. The other workers were asleep, and the hum of the machines sounded calm. He walked past the well again, careful not to look too long. But the glow inside it now seemed softer, almost like it was waiting. Yarrick felt a shiver run down his spine. He turned away and continued to the storage area, hoping to focus on something normal, something simple. As he reached the storage room, a soft light appeared in the corner. At first, he thought it was a reflection from the control panels. But then it grew brighter and took shape. It looked like a tall man, but not fully solid. His form was faint, transparent, with a soft blue glow like the light in the well. Yarrick froze, his heart pounding in his chest. The figure did not move closer, but its eyes seemed to meet his, calm and knowing. For a moment, Yarrick thought he was dreaming. He rubbed his eyes, but the figure did not disappear. It was real. And it was looking at him. Who are you?" Yarrick asked quietly, his voice trembling. The figure tilted its head, then spoke in a soft, melodic voice. "I am Kale," it said. "I have waited a long time for someone like you." Yarrick stepped back, unsure what to do. "Someone like me? I'm just a maintenance worker. I don't belong here." Kale's form shimmered slightly. "That is exactly why you were chosen. Your mind is open, your heart is humble. You can see what others cannot." Yarrick swallowed hard. "See what?" "The memories of my people," Kale said. "We lived here long before humans. We built this well to hold our knowledge, our history, and our purpose. It is alive in the water you drank. It has bonded with you." Yarrick looked at his glowing eyes. He had noticed the lines moving inside them for days, but now he realized why. The well had not only changed him, it had connected him to Kale and to something much older than humanity itself. "I don't understand," Yarrick whispered. "Why me?" Kale's glow pulsed softly. "Not all who drink from the well can survive it. Many would be overwhelmed, their minds broken by the memories. You are ready. You can carry what my people left behind." Yarrick felt a mixture of fear and wonder. He had always thought of himself as small, insignificant. Now, a being from an ancient civilization was telling him he was chosen for something extraordinary. "Chosen? For what?" he asked. "To learn, to guide, and to prepare," Kale said. "The knowledge in the well is a gift. You will see visions, patterns, and truths that humans have never known. But you must control them or they could overwhelm you. I will teach you." The figure stepped closer, and for the first time, Yarrick felt a calm wash over him. The presence of Kale was not frightening, it was protective. It was as if he had been alone for so long, and now someone was here to guide him. "Teach me?" Yarrick said, his voice barely above a whisper. Kale nodded. "Yes. You will learn to read the symbols, to understand the patterns, to unlock the memories of my people. They built wonders here that humans have yet to imagine. With your help, they can awaken again." Yarrick took a deep breath. He did not know what he was getting into, but he felt a strange certainty. He could feel the knowledge inside him, moving slowly, waiting to be understood. The lines in his eyes pulsed softly, and for the first time he smiled. "I'll do it," he said. "I'll learn." Kale's form shimmered brighter. "Then begin, Yarrick. Open your mind. See beyond what you know. Trust the well and trust yourself." As the ghost faded, Yarrick felt a connection linger in the air, like a soft current of energy that hummed around him. He was no longer alone. The well had chosen him, and Kale would guide him. That night, Yarrick returned to his small room, sat by the window, and closed his eyes. He let the warmth behind his glowing eyes grow, letting it flow through his mind. Patterns began to appear, soft symbols dancing in the darkness. They were strange, alien, yet familiar, as if they were speaking directly to him. For the first time he felt purpose. He was no longer just a maintenance worker on a distant outpost. He was something more, a bridge between humans and an ancient civilization, a guardian of knowledge waiting to be awakened. Outside, the wind of the alien planet whispered over the cliffs, carrying a quiet hum from the well. Yarrick knew that his life had changed forever. The ghost had appeared not to frighten him but to guide him. And Yarrick was ready to follow. The adventure was only beginning. Yarrick woke early the next morning, his glowing eyes dimmer in the daylight but still alive with soft blue lines. The visions from the night before lingered in his mind, strange symbols, patterns, and shapes that made no sense yet felt meaningful. He rubbed his temples, trying to focus on something familiar, but even the hum of the station machine sounded different now. "Clear," ordered. He walked to the maintenance bay and checked a broken power panel. Normally he would have struggled with it, but today it felt as though his hands understood the circuits before his brain did. Wires twisted into place smoothly, connections clicked perfectly, and the panel hummed back to life. Yarrick froze, amazed. The knowledge in his mind, flowing from the well and Kale, was guiding him. That evening, when the station quieted and most workers had gone to sleep, Yarrick returned to the well. The blue glow was faint but welcoming, as if it recognized him. He knelt by the edge, staring into the shimmering water. He expected Kale to appear immediately, but the ghost did not. Instead, the water seemed to pulse slowly like a heartbeat. "I'm ready," Yarrick whispered, unsure if he was speaking to the well or to Kale. "Teach me everything." A soft hum filled the air, and the familiar figure appeared, glowing faintly blue. Kale's presence was calm and reassuring. "Patience," the ghost said. "The memories are not yours alone yet. They must be unlocked carefully. Too much at once can overwhelm the mind. You must learn to see, not just look." Yarrick nodded. He felt the warmth behind his eyes again, stronger now, spreading into his mind like gentle waves. Symbols appeared in the air before him, geometric shapes, lines, and floating glyphs. They rotated slowly, hovering like instructions waiting to be read. Kale guided him patiently. These symbols are our language. Not letters or words but thoughts and patterns. Each one carries knowledge, understanding, and memory. Begin by observing, not touching. Let them speak to you. Yarrick focused. At first the symbols made no sense. They shifted too quickly, changing shape, and their meaning was hidden. But gradually he noticed small connections, lines that mirrored circuits, angles that matched structures he had seen on the station, patterns that suggested energy flow. His glowing eyes pulsed as he absorbed the information, each flicker of blue light signaling understanding. Hours passed like minutes. Yarrick's fingers hovered over the symbols, tracing shapes in the air. With each movement he felt a piece of the alien knowledge settle into his mind. He began to see their history in flashes. A civilization that had built entire cities from pure energy, creatures who communicated through thought and light, machines that repaired themselves and powered entire worlds. The memories were peaceful, filled with art, learning, and exploration, not war. Why did your people leave this behind? Yarrick asked quietly, still following the glowing patterns. Kale's figure shimmered. We knew our time was ending. Our bodies could not survive, but our knowledge could. We placed it in the well for a species that could carry it forward. Not to conquer, not to control, but to continue what we began. Yarrick felt a sense of responsibility settling in him, heavier than he expected but not frightening. This was not just about learning. It was about carrying a gift meant for the future. And you think humans are ready? He asked. Kale nodded. Among your kind, yes. But it is not the majority. That is why you were chosen. You are humble, patient, and open-minded. You will awaken others when the time is right. Yarrick looked down at his glowing eyes. They felt like keys to something vast and ancient, a bridge between humans and beings who had long vanished. He began to experiment, using the patterns he saw to repair old machines that had been unusable for years. Broken lights, worn panels, and malfunctioning energy conduits responded to his touch as if they recognized him. The station hummed smoother than ever before, and Yarrick realized he was seeing and understanding its systems in ways no human had before. Days passed. Each night, Kale returned to teach him more. Yarrick began to memorize symbols, trace the flow of alien energy, and even sense the hidden connections between objects. Slowly he began to understand that the well had not just changed his eyes, it had given him a new way of seeing the world. One night, Kale showed him something extraordinary. The ghost led Yarrick to a sealed chamber deep beneath the station. The walls were etched with symbols glowing faintly, like the ones he had learned to read. Kale gestured to the center where a large crystal pulsed with soft blue light. This is a memory crystal, Kale explained. It stores the knowledge of our people. Only one with the changed eyes can awaken it fully. Yarrick approached, his heart racing. The crystal seemed to react to him, lighting up brighter as he drew near. Lines of light flowed from the crystal into his eyes, and he felt the warmth in his mind grow. For a moment he was overwhelmed by visions. Cities of light, machines moving on their own, stars connecting through energy bridges. He staggered, but Kale's calm presence steadied him. You are ready, Kale said. The knowledge is yours to use wisely. Learn, understand, and guide your people. Yarrick looked at the glowing symbols, then at Kale. He realized that he was no longer just a maintenance worker. He was a guardian of ancient knowledge, a bridge between humanity and a civilization long gone. The task was great, but he felt capable. For the first time he felt a purpose beyond himself, beyond the station, beyond the stars. The ancient memory of the well had begun to awaken inside him, and with Kale's guidance, Yarrick knew he could carry it forward, shaping a new future for humans that no one had ever imagined. Yarrick felt the weight of his new role pressing gently on his shoulders. Every step he took through the quiet halls of Station Row 9 felt purposeful. He was no longer just a maintenance worker. The blue lines glowing softly in his eyes reminded him constantly that he carried something far greater than himself, the knowledge of an ancient civilization, entrusted to him through the well and guided by Kale, the ghost. Over the next few days, Yarrick focused on understanding more of the alien symbols and patterns. Every night, Kale appeared to teach him, pointing out connections he would have never seen on his own. Machines that had been broken for years now hummed perfectly when Yarrick touched them. Power conduits, communication devices, and energy panels all seemed to respond to his presence, as if recognizing him as someone who belonged. The station's efficiency improved in ways the human crew could not explain. They whispered among themselves, calling him the miracle mechanic. Though Yarrick knew the truth, the miracle was not his alone, It was the gift of the well and Kale's guidance. One evening, Kale appeared with a sense of urgency in his glowing form. "It is time," he said. "You have learned much, but the purpose of your journey lies deeper than these halls. There is a chamber beneath the station, sealed long ago. It contains what my people left behind for a species capable of understanding it. Only you can awaken it fully." Yarrick followed Kale through narrow corridors and hidden stairways that no one else knew existed. The walls here were etched with symbols, faintly glowing, reflecting the same patterns he had been studying. At the end of the path, they arrived at a massive door, covered in intricate carvings that pulsed faintly. "This door responds to the changed eyes," Kale explained. "Only one who carries the well's bond can enter." Yarrick approached, his heart beating faster. The glow in his eyes strengthened as he drew near. His fingers touched the carvings and the door responded instantly, sliding open silently. Beyond it lay a chamber bathed in soft ambient light. In the center stood a crystal, tall and glowing with blue energy, humming quietly like a living being. Its surface shimmered with patterns Yarrick had seen in the well, symbols flowing across it in a continuous, silent dance. "This is the heart of the knowledge," Kale said. "The crystal holds our civilization's greatest discoveries: clean energy, advanced technology, and methods of understanding the universe itself. Humans are capable of carrying this knowledge forward, but only one who sees with the changed eyes can awaken it." Yarrick stepped closer, feeling warmth and energy flowing into him. As he touched the crystal, visions filled his mind. He saw the ancient builders walking through cities made of light, machines repairing themselves without human hands, bridges of energy connecting planets. He saw knowledge flowing like rivers, pure and beautiful, intended to guide the next intelligent species. It was overwhelming, but Kale's calm presence steadied him. "You must focus," Kale instructed. "Do not fear the knowledge. Let it flow through you, but do not let it control you. You are the bridge." Yarrick concentrated, letting the symbols and visions wash over him. Slowly he felt understanding settle into his mind. He could see how the machines worked, how energy flowed, and how structures could be built to harness it. More importantly, he understood that this knowledge was not meant to dominate, it was meant to help, to guide, to shape a better future. Hours passed, though it felt like minutes. When the visions finally subsided, Yarrick stepped back from the crystal, breathing deeply. His eyes still glowed, but now with calm confidence instead of uncertainty. He realized he had been changed not only by the water in the well but by the trust of a long-lost civilization. They had chosen him, a humble maintenance worker, because he could carry their knowledge wisely. Kale's figure shimmered beside him. "The crystal is awake and you are ready," the ghost said. "Your people will follow your guidance, but you must remember, this gift is a responsibility. Use it to build, to teach, to inspire. Let the knowledge be a light, not a weapon." Yarrick nodded, feeling a new sense of purpose. He had always lived quietly, fixing machines and keeping the station running. Now, he understood that his life had been preparation for something far greater. He was no longer alone. The well, Kale, and the ancient knowledge were all with him, guiding his every thought and decision. He returned to the station, walking through the corridors with a quiet confidence. Crew members noticed the change immediately. The station systems ran smoother than ever before, and small problems were solved almost before they appeared. Yarrick smiled gently to himself. He had the knowledge to shape a better life for everyone, and he understood the responsibility that came with it. That night, as he sat by the observation window looking out at the stars, he felt a calm warmth behind his glowing eyes. He thought of Kale, of the well, and of the ancient builders who had left their legacy for someone like him. The future of humanity suddenly seemed full of possibilities. The station was just the beginning. One day humans could reach far beyond, guided by the wisdom now flowing through him. Yarrick realized that his life had changed forever. He was no longer just a worker, a small part of a distant outpost. He was a guardian of knowledge, a bridge between humans and a civilization long gone. The crystal's light pulsed softly in his mind, a reminder of the responsibility and the opportunity he now carried. He whispered to himself softly but firmly, "I will use this gift wisely. I will help my people reach the stars." Outside, the wind of the alien planet whispered against the cliffs, carrying a quiet hum from the well. Yarrick knew the journey had only just begun, but he was ready. The 1,000-year well had chosen him, the ghost had guided him, and now humanity's future rested in part in his hands. And for the first time, Yarrick felt a deep, unshakable certainty. The stars were waiting and he was ready to lead the way.